Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the June Keys Penguin Habitat. My name is Michelle. I'm joined today with Kelly and all of our penguins. Now, we have 20 penguins here. I'm going to be giving them their lunch right now. You going to eat that? Nope. Now, what I'm going to do is actually go off mic for a little bit because what I'm going to be talking to Kelly about is how many fish each animal is eating, as well as which animal is eating it. Just like Gat's got a herring. But you're going to hear that over and over and over again. So what I'm going to do is do a quick feed, and then once I'm done, I'll get back on the mic and tell you a little bit about our penguins.
Oh, dentist in the morning. I can't forget.
Well, as you can tell, our penguins are a little bit full. Might be because I gave them their morning breakfast around 9:30, so they're not all that hungry at this feed, but I always like to offer. Now, if you notice, I was sitting up here with Matson. Actually, Matson was down there, and he likes to play with pant legs, and sometimes he gets a little too close. And penguins are made to spar with penguins, and that's what you're seeing right in front. We have, I think that is Andy. We have Gats as well as a stare. Now, they're all sparring, and that's normal, but penguins are equipped to do that. And when they try to do that with us, our skin is very, very thin. And so when they think that they're sparring and what would normally be perfectly fine, we can actually get a little bruised. And so I don't have boots on today. I'm having my sneakers. And so when he comes over, his beak can get quite close to my skin. So I tend to like to have him stay either down with me or actually up on his ledge where he will eat with no problems. And that's all he wanted was fish, but he wanted fish on his own terms. And of course, I will wait until he is doing something positive for me to reinforce him, because I do not want to reinforce negative behavior. And if you are a parent, you understand completely what I'm talking about. Now, right now, we do have penguins on eggs. The big rule of thumb is if you see one penguin and not the other, and you know that they're a pair, that means that they're on an egg. So right now, we have a few penguins on eggs. You will notice that some penguins will stay both on the eggs. We have some youngsters, and the youngsters are the ones that are doing a lot of the mischief. Right in front of me, we have a stare and Gats, and Fisher right over here. They are our youngest penguins, and they are pretty much our bachelors. And so those bachelors tend to stay on deck, but they also tend to pick on each other, as well as some of the other penguins that come out for their quick swim. But they are put into their place pretty readily by everybody else. But this is a normal behavior. This is a sparring, and this is how they kind of learn how to be a penguin. And that's what Gats is doing right now. And Gats is pretty large for his age. He is the youngest penguin. You'll notice he looks a little bit different, and that is what a juvenile penguin looks like. He doesn't have that double black bar on his chest, and that's indicative of a juvenile. He will go through his molt, what we call a catastrophic molt, in a couple of months, and that's when he's going to lose all his feathers, and then he will look like his parents when his feathers grow back. But as of right now, he is still a youngster, and he will keep that coat until he goes through that catastrophic molt. But what's really interesting is if you look at his chest, you'll know that he has some what we call freckles. Those freckles will stay, and it's one of the ways that we can tell penguins apart by, it's almost like a fingerprint. Each penguin has a unique set of freckles, and that's what we go by when we take off the bands. Now, there is one penguin that has no band, and he does that because he is our largest penguin, and that's Shim right over there. Now, Shim is with Whatever. If you notice, Whatever is not on exhibit right now, and that's because she is in her nest box. But he is our largest penguin. Whatever is our oldest penguin at 15. And our youngest penguin, like I said, is Gats. Now, we feed them a variety of herring and capelin, but what's really interesting is when we go through this breeding time, the penguins can change what they like to eat. So we have penguins like Shim is a great example. Normally, he will only eat herring. But then, come breeding time, he decides, you know, I don't want herring anymore. All I want is capelin. And we allow that. We pretty much figure out what the colony likes as food. We prep our buckets early in the morning, come out here at least 3 times a day to feed them. Now, if you feel bad for the penguins that are in the back, in their little condos, don't worry. We actually feed them on their nest boxes. And this is done for twofold. One, so that we can make sure that they get all their nutrients. But 2, we actually check out the eggs to make sure that they're doing well. And for us to be able to do that safely, we reinforce the penguins for allowing us to be in their nest box. Because if you tried that with a wild penguin, you would get bit up pretty good. And like I said before, those penguin beaks, while they look kind of pretty innocuous, they actually are serrated and they can do quite a bit of damage. But the penguins, since we've been feeding them on their nest boxes for quite some time, they just go, oh, okay, you're good. I like you. You bring me food. Go ahead, and if you want to check out my egg, you can. And so that makes it much safer, not only for us, but for the penguin, because if every time we had to go in, we would have to tell them to check the egg, that could kind of ruin that relationship. And so by doing it through positive reinforcement, we're able to do a lot of neat things with our animals. Some other things that we're working on through positive reinforcement is actually weighing our penguins. They are trained to go on a scale. So what we do is we place the scale, usually not out here because it is so rocky. We actually will call the penguins into our back area. The penguins will step onto their scale. They get reinforced for going on the scale. We can get that weight, and we will then kind of look to make sure that they are eating well. Now, our exhibit is made for our temperate penguins, because a lot of times people wonder why we have penguins and it's sunny out here. Well, not all penguins live in the ice cold. These penguins are found off the coast of Chile, and this exhibit mimics where they're found. One thing that they do have off the coast of Chile is a really cold jet stream. So the water temperature in here is around 55 degrees. So if the penguins get a little too warm, what they'll do is they'll just pop into the water. Now, during the molt, they do not like to swim. So what we have done is we actually inputted some misters, and we actually will have misters for them. Penguins out in the wild do not have this luxury, but we do a lot for our penguins, and so they do. Now, a great thing that you're seeing right there is what's called allopreening. The penguins will... You'll notice that penguins can't always get their necks when they're preening. And so what they do is their friends help them out. And that is called allopreening. They will just sit there while the penguin will work the feathers for them. And they will do that for each other. Well, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I would like to say thank you all for coming to the aquarium, because your admission does help us take care of all of our penguins. So for myself, Kelly, and all of them, we'd like to say thank you and enjoy the rest of your day here at the aquarium.